Nancy Guthrie, an 84-year-old woman from Tucson, Arizona, has been missing for weeks, and the mystery surrounding her disappearance is growing darker with each new development. The latest update has shocked investigators and the public alike. A retired homicide detective now believes that Nancy did not vanish because of one person acting alone. Instead, up to 4 people may have worked together to carry out a coordinated plan that led to her disappearance. Kurt Dabb, a former homicide detective in Pima County, Arizona, has shared his insight after reviewing the case details. According to Dabb, the level of planning and coordination required to abduct Nancy suggests multiple accomplices. He explained that the suspect captured on Nancy's doorbell camera could not have executed this crime alone. Thus, it is likely that the home was scouted beforehand, either by the main perpetrator or by an accomplice. The timing, the tools, and the method indicate that this was a carefully orchestrated kidnapping, not a random act of burglary. The video footage released by the FBI shows a masked and armed individual outside Nancy's home prior to her disappearance. What makes the footage chilling is that the suspect spent approximately 40 minutes inside the residence after the doorbell camera was disconnected. Authorities have estimated that Nancy's pacemaker disconnected from her cell phone around 2:30 a.m., suggesting that she was abducted during that time. The image of a single masked man outside the home gives the impression of one perpetrator, but experts argue that the scale of the crime makes it nearly impossible for one person to carry it out alone. Investigators are considering that this may have been a carefully planned operation. Dabb pointed out that burglars rarely enter a home with a full backpack, suggesting that the suspect's intent was not theft. The method, the timing, and the equipment used all indicate a deliberate plan to kidnap Nancy, raising serious questions about who else might have been involved. The authorities have yet to publicly confirm the presence of multiple suspects, but the retired detective's theory is supported by the logistics of the crime. Handling a kidnapping of this magnitude involves coordination, surveillance, and careful planning. The experts believe that there could have been anywhere from 2 to 4 accomplices working in tandem to carry out this operation. The Pima County Sheriff's Office has not dismissed the possibility of multiple suspects. Public Information Officer Angelica Carrillo stated that Sheriff Chris Nanos has always said that more than one person could be involved. The investigation continues, focusing on tracking down every piece of evidence that might reveal the identity of those responsible. Meanwhile, former FBI analyst Jennifer Dobler has offered insight into the meticulous investigative work being carried out. Agents are examining DNA samples collected from Nancy's home, analyzing the backpack and clothing worn by the masked suspect, and tracing purchases from both online and physical stores. This includes following every lead from retailers that may have sold the items seen on the suspect in the surveillance video. Dobler explained that while this process is painstaking, it could prove extremely effective in identifying the accomplices. The situation is urgent. Nancy Guthrie relies on daily medication, and the longer she remains missing, the higher the risk to her health. As days pass, the chances that she is still alive may be diminishing. Her disappearance has drawn widespread attention, not only because of her age and vulnerability, but also because of her connection to Savannah Guthrie, a co-anchor on the Today Show. The public remains deeply concerned, hoping for any new clues that can lead to her safe return. Security measures around her home have also provided investigators with clues. Here, neighbors have observed reinforced doors and security gates, suggesting that the kidnappers may have known exactly what they were up against. The surveillance footage, combined with these security details, paints a picture of a crime that was carefully planned and executed, rather than a random act. Experts continue to examine the timeline of events. The doorbell camera shows the masked individual outside Nancy's home late at night, and the suspect's behavior suggests a specific intent. The act of disconnecting the camera, entering the house, and taking over 40 minutes inside indicates a chilling level of premeditation. Investigators are treating this as a serious kidnapping, focusing on tracking the accomplices and uncovering any leads that could explain their motives. The authorities are also looking into possible patterns in the clothing and gear used by the suspects. Items such as backpacks and jackets can be traced to specific manufacturers and retailers. This means that investigators could potentially track purchases, narrow down suspects, and identify those involved. Every piece of evidence is being examined carefully, and while the process is slow, experts believe it could eventually reveal the identities of all accomplices. The idea that more than one person was involved changes the way the public perceives this case. It is no longer just about a missing elderly woman. It is about a coordinated crime that required teamwork, planning, and a level of sophistication that makes the situation far more frightening. The public is urged to stay alert, report any suspicious activity, and provide information that could assist law enforcement in solving this mystery. As the investigation continues, several key questions remain unanswered. Who were the accomplices? How did they coordinate the abduction? Were there signals or communications used to plan the attack? Every new piece of evidence could bring investigators closer to solving the case. The chilling reality is that someone, or a group of people, targeted Nancy Guthrie, and understanding their motives and methods is critical to preventing further harm. This case is also drawing attention to the methods law enforcement uses to track suspects. From analyzing surveillance footage to tracing purchases online, investigators are using every available tool to connect the dots. DNA evidence, eyewitness accounts, and digital traces all contribute to building a clearer picture of what happened. The process is complex, but it highlights the lengths to which law enforcement must go to solve crimes that involve multiple perpetrators. Meanwhile, the emotional impact on the community is profound. Friends, neighbors, and family members are struggling to understand how such a coordinated crime could happen in their neighborhood. The fear generated by the thought of multiple accomplices working together to commit such a violent act resonates beyond Tucson, reminding the world that coordinated crimes can happen anywhere, even in seemingly quiet communities. The latest updates show that investigators are following every possible lead. The possibility of tracing the items used in the abduction, analyzing the backpack, clothing, and other tools, could prove instrumental in identifying the suspects. The FBI and local authorities are working tirelessly, reviewing video footage, processing evidence, and conducting interviews. Each new clue could provide a breakthrough. In conclusion, the Nancy Guthrie case is evolving. What was once thought to be a single-person abduction may in fact involve multiple accomplices. The sophistication of the crime, combined with careful planning, surveillance, and execution, makes it a chilling reminder of the dangers that exist even in the most familiar environments. The world is watching, hoping for answers, and hoping for the safe return of Nancy Guthrie. The investigation continues, and as new evidence emerges, authorities are expected to provide updates on the progress of identifying the accomplices and understanding the full scope of this crime. The story of Nancy Guthrie is a sobering example of how coordinated criminal activity can disrupt lives, challenge investigators, and grip the public in fear and uncertainty.